দর্শক আমন্ত্রণ RTV নিয়মিত আলোচনা অনুষ্ঠান ফোর্থরাইটে আপনাদের সঙ্গে আছে আমি সৈয়দ আশিক রহমান। এই অনুষ্ঠানে আমরা কথা বলি বিভিন্ন সেক্টরের বিশেষজ্ঞদের সাথে যারা বাংলাদেশে কাজের অভিজ্ঞতা, উদ্দেশ্য এবং ভবিষ্যৎ পরিকল্পনা নিয়ে আলোচনা করেন। আমাদের আজকের অতিথি যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের জন হপকিন্স ব্লুমবার্গ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের পরিচালিত সেন্টার ফর কমিউনিকেশন প্রোগ্রামের চিফ অফ পার্টি মিস্টার প্যাট্রিক কোলম্যান। ভেরি ওয়েলকাম মিস্টার প্যাট্রিক at RTV studio.
Thank you, Ashik.
How long have you been in Bangladesh and how do you find it here in Bangladesh?
Well, I'm actually pretty new to Bangladesh. I've only been here since the end of April, so that's only 4 months.
Only 4 months?
Yes, but I came here many times in the past. First time I came here was in 1987.
1987?
Yes.
Well,
now I'm saying how old I am, but anyway.
Oh, come on. Yes, but what is your findings? Because 1987 and today 2017. What is the difference?
Well, there's a tremendous difference. You know, one thing, your buildings are taller. You know, when I first came here, there were
no tall buildings.
No tall buildings. And, you know, I work in the health field, and there's been tremendous improvement in the health. You know, less famine, less malnutrition, you know, diarrhea was a big problem. You know, they still have health issues, but the country's done quite well. So I think
that makes us.
And you have a middle class
happy.
That didn't happen before,
exactly.
Right?
We find that you have an excellent career profile. How did you get into your career?
Well, thank you. Actually, it was by chance. I'm a communication person like yourself. That's what I studied.
Communication person.
I studied radio, television, and film.
Oh, great.
And I thought I wanted to do something not commercial.
Well,
so I was looking for a job, and the offer came to join the Peace Corps. You know the Peace Corps of the United States?
Yeah, about it.
Well, you know, it gave me an opportunity to go to Central America, and I lived there for a number of years, and I was working for the educational television station there. And one of the people I was working with was a medical doctor, and I were developing a program on nutrition. So we talked to a number of different people, and one of the people, so that just started like that, and then one thing led to another, and I went to grad school in Chicago, and I worked in the health field, and health communication has been my forte now for 40 years.
40 years?
Yeah.
What kind of program it was?
The first program I really worked on was a family planning and population program.
Family planning and population program.
Yes, yes. And that led me to actually work with the Ministry of Health there in their communication division. So we worked on all kinds of different programs. And, you know, you and I were talking a little bit before the show started about technology and how it's changed. I worked on a program that was looking at evaluating a program that was called Doctors to the Barrios, you know, about how you get health care to remote areas. So the Ministry of Health wanted to know how that worked. So we had, quote, the first portable Sony video equipment, which weighed about 200 pounds, because in those days portable wasn't so portable. So we went through rivers and streams and all kinds of places and talked to people in remote villages. They didn't have television sets, they didn't have electricity, and we had a little portable television set. So
portable television sets.
After interviewing, we'd play it back for the villagers, you know, and you know, with your mobile phones, you know, you can watch television on that, right? You download anything and watch it.
Well, Mr. Patrick, you started to work with the family planning, public health, and population. United States is a big, huge country. That time there was absolutely very small population. So why you decided, or your organization decided to work with the family planning? What kind of family planning actually you advise? Because we need in Bangladesh. So what is the difference? So what kind of family planning method you introduce there?
Well, it's hard to say any specific method, you know, because there's so many choices. What we were promoting were what we would call the modern contraceptive methods, like the oral pills and the IUD and sterilization too. So those are some. And then nowadays, you know, you have the implants that you can put in to the arm, and condoms are also part of it. So, you know, the purpose of the program was, you know, health of the mother, because too many children too close together. That's not good for the child, and it's not good for the mom. There should be at least 2 years of spacing, ideally 3, between your children. And then it's a matter of, how many children you can take care of, and that's been an issue in many countries, And so once people know about family planning and have the choices available to them, most time they'll accept it pretty well.
How long you are working for that place?
Well, I worked there 5 years.
5 years.
Yes.
After that?
After that, I went to graduate school, University of Chicago.
Well.
And I studied there basically development communication. It gave me a good background about communication theories, and I learned a lot about psychology and sociology, right. All the ologies that go into what we do, right? You have to understand people's behavior. And I kept working, and it's my first trip to like Africa. Well,
are you enjoying your work here in Bangladesh?
Very much. It's only been a few months.
What keeps you inspired, actually? What keeps you inspired here?
What keeps me inspired? What keeps me inspired is a chance to work with people. I love working with people and thinking that maybe I can contribute a little bit to help them live healthier lives. Wow. And I'm a big believer that communication is the entrance point for people. They need the information to start with. They need to understand why it's important for them and how it can help their personal health and their family's health. So that keeps me inspired.
Please tell us the purpose of John Hopkins Bloomberg Schools of Public Health and its activities in Bangladesh.
Okay, well, I work for part of the Bloomberg School of Public Health. It's called the Center for Communication Programs.
Exactly.
The university has a couple of different programs through the school. And they also work in health. They're mainly in nutrition, and a couple of our faculty members have projects here working in nutrition in different parts. Our particular project is USAID funded, US government funded. It's called Ujiban, New Life.
Sorry?
Ujiban.
Ujiban.
It's about the only Bangla word I know. So.
Oh, no, great.
And it focuses on reproductive health, maternal, neonatal, child, adolescent health, nutrition, and tuberculosis. It still exists in a lot of places, unfortunately. And one of the problems with tuberculosis is there's actually a cure. If you take your medicine, but most people start feeling better after a while, and then they stop taking it. So then develops these other multi-drug resistant strains, and then you have to get more expensive medications.
Tell me, you are working with Ujiban.
Right.
You just telling us. What is the goal and who are your targeting group?
Okay, well, our goal is to give people diverse information that will help them live healthier lives. Now, that's a broad goal, but in those 4 subject areas that I mentioned earlier. But we're focusing geographically on Sylhet and Chittagong because they have the lowest health indicators in those 4 subject areas. So we're targeting mainly rural and semi-rural people, women in particular, and women with children in particular, and I'd say adolescents. But nobody makes a decision in a vacuum. You're probably married, so you talk with your wife, and you have children, and you consult about things in your own life. I know it's the same with me. I have a daughter who's 36, and I have a son who's going to be 13.
Great. You look pretty young.
Well, thank you. And each of them have health needs, and I've always tried to talk to them about their health and their behaviors and how it impacts upon them. So it's the same thing for a Bangladeshi person, a woman living in a rural area, culture impacts her, society impacts her, religion impacts her and the decisions she can make, the husband and how he's involved in the family decisions or not. So we try to target the whole group to reach that one person.
Well, Mr. Patrick, how does your organizations add value to Bangladesh in health sector?
Well, we think we add value because we have a great deal of experience from different programs around the world, and we've been working in Bangladesh since 1987. So our particular area of expertise is health communication. So what we want to do is part of our program works with your Ministry of Health and Family Welfare.
Well,
so we work with the Director General of Family Planning and of Health Services, and with the communication units within there, because they're working down to the grassroots level with all of their workers. So if we can help improve their communication with their workers, then that may impact our end users. So that's just one aspect. We're going to do television programs, social media, all of those things too.
Well, Mr. Patrick, we'll talk about more reproductive health and tuberculosis after a short break. দর্শক দেখছেন RTV নিয়মিত আলোচনা অনুষ্ঠান ফোর্থরাইট। এই পর্যায়ে নিচ্ছি বিরতি, ফিরছি একটু পরে। সে পর্যন্ত আমাদের সাথেই থাকুন। দর্শক, আবারও আমন্ত্রণ ফোর্থরাইট অনুষ্ঠানে। আজকে কথা বলছিলাম যুক্তরাষ্ট্রের জন হপকিন্স ব্লুমবার্গ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় পরিচালিত সেন্টার ফর কমিউনিকেশন প্রোগ্রামের চিফ অফ পার্টি মিস্টার প্যাট্রিক কোলম্যানের সঙ্গে। Welcome again, Mr. Patrick, at RTV studio. Well, as per you are talking on reproductive health, and so reproductive health, tuberculosis, and many other fields you are working before and here in Bangladesh now.
Correct.
What is your findings? And you know, it's all related with child marriage also.
Yes, that's true. That's true. One of the biggest issues about child marriage, I think, is, you know, when people get married, there's culture and social pressure to have children right away. And so when a woman is like 15 or 13, so if she gets pregnant at that age, you know, and then has a baby, there's a good chance both of them are going to have health issues. So, you know, just from a health perspective, you know, you want a woman to be closer to 18 to 20 before she starts her reproductive career, if I can say it like that, you know, her reproductive life. So early child marriage is a difficult issue, you know, and I know it's quite controversial here too, because there are a lot of social pressures about it, you know, and part of that is frankly related to gender and the value of the girl child. You know, a lot of families still believe, you know, that if they can marry the girl off, then that's less of an economic burden for them, that they don't value her as much as a boy child.
Mr. Patrick, how does John Hopkins' new project may work to reduce child marriage?
Well, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to work with religious leaders and community leaders at the grassroots level and talk to them about some of these health issues. You know, I frame everything in terms of health. You know, I'm not an imam or a religious person. So how does that impact the community when young girls are getting married at an early age and then start reproducing? It's not good for the community. The community will have more burdens upon them of taking care of the health of individuals, because, you know, communities are all interrelated. You know, they may be family members, they may not be, but they know each other, and they know if somebody has a health problem about that. So we're going to try to approach it like that, and we're going to be developing a drama series, a TV drama series. We've lined up, I think, some of your best directors. Don't ask me who they are. I can't release their names yet. And script writers to help us.
Mr. Patrick, adolescent and reproductive health is another concern in today's world.
Yes.
Basically, in case of developing country like Bangladesh, what is the challenges you think it is in here?
Well, Bangladesh is not totally unusual, but you do have a fairly young population.
Exactly.
And you have a population of young people, especially in urban and semi-urban areas, that's becoming much more mobile than ever before and much more tuned into social media and other things. So they're getting information from a lot of different sources, but they're not getting, perhaps, information from parents about health, about reproductive health in particular. You know, we were talking earlier about Ritu, menstruation. You know, that's not a topic that's talked about. You know, and it affects half your population. You know, young girls don't know what's happening to them when they first have their first menstrual cycle. Parents don't talk to them about it. They don't know who to turn to. So one of the challenges is how can we reach them with effective communication in an entertaining way, because as you well know, you know, kids turn off like that if they don't find it, interesting to them. That's the first thing. It has to be interesting. Then you try to work in some factual information and perhaps refer them to somebody or some place, even if it's an internet site where they can go, that's a safe site to get it factual information.
How do you ensure equality?
Well, what we try to do is listen first, what do they want? How do they want information? What's a good approach to them? Sometimes it's through teachers, for instance, so we'll work through the formal school system. Sometimes there's like after-school clubs. I believe you have Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts here.
Exactly.
So organizations like that, which are known and respected. And so what we try to do is develop a set of tools and materials that those groups can use with their audiences, and then train them how to use some of these tools. So for instance, we were talking about a television drama. So we may take clips of that, because we're going to have an adolescent as one of the protagonists in the drama. We'll take clips of her saying different things and then repurpose it so it'll be like on a tablet like you have or something like that, that can be shown in a group, and then they can talk about it afterwards and develop like a series of questions that they can ask the young people they're working with, and age-appropriate questions, obviously.
We own the CMO Asia as the best Facebook campaign in 2017. It is RTV.
Congratulations.
And thank you. I received it from Singapore. Actually, it shows that how fast we are moving. Bangladesh is coming up, and young people, they very much actually active in Facebook and social media, and that is the actually opportunity to take if we give the proper direction. Now, actually, what is your observation or what is your comments on it?
Well, as you mentioned, social media is very, very popular here, especially Facebook. YouTube, somewhat, it's growing.
Yes. Well, Patrick, malnutrition and overnutrition, both are challenges in Bangladesh. As an expert, how we may ensure nutrition for our generation?
Well, nutrition starts actually from birth, the mother needs to breastfeed. She needs to breastfeed immediately the newborn child.
Well,
it's both for bonding and a nutritional factor, and to keep breastfeeding for at least 6 months is the recommendation. So if people start doing it from that early age, of understanding the value of nutrition, actually you could even say before birth, because the mother needs to eat properly,
right.
And that's one of the challenges, because women oftentimes here are the last to eat. It's the man first, then the children, then she gets what's ever left.
Well,
and if she's pregnant in particular, she needs extra nutrients because she's feeding for 2, right?
Exactly.
And then as you grow up, you have to make sure that you have a balanced meal. And with adolescents, it's definitely challenging, especially in an urban setting, because they're exposed to all the fast food, and in the U.S. we'd call it junk food, that's available to them, and they don't think about, what they're eating. They don't at all. So they'll buy a soda. I won't mention any brands. They'll buy a soda.
Don't buy a soda.
Yeah, and instead of like getting a piece of fruit or a fruit juice that may have less sugar in it if it's a natural fruit juice, So it's a challenge to get people to understand that what's the value of what they're eating and how it contributes to their development, both physically, mentally, in particular.
Exactly. Well, Mr. Patrick, we are almost end of the program. Any final thought you want to share with us, with our viewers?
Well, I've enjoyed my opportunity to talk with you very much, and thanks for giving our Ujiban project a push here as we're going to be becoming much more active. It really is a partnership. It's a partnership with the people of Bangladesh, with the partnership with the media, with the government, and everybody. Yes, we have some expertise and we have some experience, but all my staff are Bangladeshis, and they're great creative people, and I just think that we'll have a good opportunity to make this program help your people, inspire them to live healthy lives.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being with us, Mr. Patrick, and we wish you all success. And I believe that after some time you like and love Bangladesh more.
Oh, I love it. I tell people this is my home now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. দর্শক, এদেশের জনস্বাস্থ্য উন্নয়নে মার্কিন প্রতিষ্ঠান জন হপকিন্স ব্লুমবার্গ বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় বিভিন্নভাবে ভূমিকা রেখে চলেছে। বিশেষত প্রজনন স্বাস্থ্য থেকে শুরু করে সংক্রামক ব্যাধির বিস্তারে সচেতনতার কার্যক্রম প্রশংসার দাবি রাখে। সংস্থাটির বাংলাদেশ প্রধান প্যাট্রিকের সাথে আলোচনায় যে সম্ভাবনা বাংলাদেশকে আমরা দেখতে পেলাম তার রেশ থাকুক আগামীতেও, এই প্রত্যাশায় শেষ করছি ফোর্থরাইট। এতক্ষণ আমাদের সঙ্গে থাকার জন্য ধন্যবাদ।